Absolutely massive in scale and size, the Psycho Gundam Mark II towers over its enemies during the late stages of the Grips conflict in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. This experimental mobile armor, designed to be used by new types, is covered in weaponry, with 20 mega beam cannons throughout the body, beam cannons in the tips of its fingers, a reflector bit system, detachable arms with beam sabers hidden within, and a mega beam cannon in the head. The Psycho Gundam Mark II is not a Gundam to be trifling with. This menace even makes a return in Double Zeta Gundam, having been repaired by Neo Zeon and used during the Neo Zeon Civil War. Its legacy is matched only by its ferocity. Let me know which version of the Psycho Gundam is your favorite in the comments below. The main Gundam build is spread across 23 runners, incorporating 7 different molded colors and 468 parts total. The accessories also include 4 beam effect runners totaling 14 parts, and 2 additional action bases, one for the Gundam itself and one for the reflector bits. There's a lot of great value here with this Gundam, both with its high piece count for a high grade, as well as the additional stands and accessories for the reflector bits and fortress mode. These action bases could have been sold separately, but I'm glad they were packed in this box. The build for this Gundam took me about 20 hours. The kit on screen has been built out of the box with only panel lining applied. No further work has been done. The assembly was the quickest part of the build, coming in at around 6 hours to complete the assembly. The rest of my time was spent panel lining and cleaning up parts. Like we've come to expect with Bandai, the assembly of their parts was extremely easy. I didn't have any fitment issues during the build. I will note that this kit is a bit more complex than others, because it does have a transformation gimmick built into it. Because of this transformation, there's a lot of moving parts, so you'll definitely want to pay attention to the shoulder armor assembly and the torso assembly, as both those areas were the most complex. This kit has a ton of really large parts on it, but that doesn't mean it's completely absolved of small parts. The mega beam cannon in the head has an incredibly small part, and the yellow color separation piece on the front torso is really small and a little difficult to slide into place. The amount of small parts here is definitely manageable, but this will be something to keep in mind just so you don't lose these parts. Just make sure you follow the manual. There's a lot going on with this build, so take your time and enjoy the process. This kit has been panel lined with Tamiya Accent Color Black, which is my typical go-to for panel lining. The cleanup of this liner was done with Zippo lighter fluid, and any touch-ups was done with the Pigma Micron .003 pen. Let's just get this out of the way first. I spent the majority of my time with this build panel lining. The amount of surface detailing here on this Gundam is very close to a real grade, with lots of panels, surface scribing, truss framing on the frame, and venting throughout the entire kit. No part of this kit has been left without detail. For me, this is a wonderful addition, as I love surface detailing a lot, but I do understand that this level of detail may not be for everyone. The panel liner fluid flowed well through most panel line areas on the surface, so no issues there. This did drastically change for the interior detail in the armor flaps where the truss framing is present. These panels are not deep at all, so the Tamiya didn't like to flow. To remedy this, you could either rescribe the lines to make them more pronounced or use a pen. I went with the latter as that's much easier, but if I was doing a full custom build, I'd probably want to rescribe those lines. The reflector bits were also extremely tedious to panel line and clean up as well. There's a lot of really fine details on the fins, and it's easy to erase those details during cleanup. For the Psycho Gundam, the outward details are easy enough to panel line. The interior detailing does require a bit more time and attention, but it's well worth it to see those details as you transform and articulate the kit. Just be mindful to not burn yourself out trying to panel line everything, only panel line what you really want to, as this kit has a large amount of panels to line, and it really requires a few extra methods if you want to cover the whole thing. The seam lines on the Psycho Gundam are decent, with only a handful to note. The head has 2 seam lines, one across the top vent and one down the middle back of the head armor. The other seam lines are on the back of the hood that covers the head. There are other seam lines on this kit, but you're able to mask most of them as panel lines. The rear of the legs or the side of the arms are a perfect example, as the seam line butts up directly to the other piece, allowing you to panel line it and hide it entirely, thus avoiding the need to create sprue glue or cement these seams closed. On a kit of this size, I'm really happy that the seam lines are easily masked, and the ones that are visible only have a small footprint on the kit itself. Color accuracy for this kit is amazing, with the main mobile suit itself being fully color accurate out of the box. Even the eyes are color separated. The only thing I found on this kit to require some extra coloring would be the reflector bits, as the fins should have a silver reflective surface. But adding this detail with a silver Sharpie, marker, or paint is super easy. There are some black stickers for the beam cannons around the body, but I filled these in easily with my panel liner pen, so I didn't have to use any of the stickers provided on this kit at all. I said this in the unboxing video, but I'll say it again here. I'm really glad this kit came out later in the high grade line. If this had come out earlier in the line, a lot of these yellow and red colored areas would have to be painted or would most likely be a sticker. Thankfully, Bandai now has the technology to make this kit color accurate while keeping the seam lines to a minimum and the price of the kit fair and affordable. Sadly, the nub marks for this kit aren't nearly as well planned as the seam lines or the panel lines. The nub placement on this kit is all on the edges of the armor. There is no undergating on this kit at all. Unfortunately, some of these nubs are really large, making cleanup a little more difficult to blend. These larger nubs are clearly visible on the shield, as well as on some of the swivel joints under the front skirt. The typical size nubs can be found throughout all the armor panels, and with such a unique shade of purple, it's very easy to see them on the side of the arm armor, the side of the skirt armor, and a few on the feet. Some extra care and TLC will need to be taken with all the nubs on this kit. You'll really want to take your time to try and sand these out. It would be really easy to scar the plastic on this kit if you're not careful with your gate removal, so builder beware. With the build covered, let's get into articulation. The head has a ball joint in the neck and a ball joint at the torso. This whole section is on an elevator that slides down for the transformation. Articulating the head can be a little cumbersome because of this. The head can look up 30 degrees, down 50 degrees, it can rotate around 360 degrees, and finally it can tilt left to right 30 degrees. Moving the head can be a little annoying because the two power cables connected to the head like to pop out. The head also has a slide within it for the transformation gimmick, so it does like to fight you a little bit as you articulate the head. The torso has a backwards lean but no forward ab crunch. Given the kit's size and transformation, this is a welcome surprise. The hood can swing upwards, which is primarily for the transformation, but is required to rotate the torso around. The shoulder armor can swing upwards, revealing a thruster. The rear armor panels can drop, revealing storage for the reflector bits. The torso can swivel on the waist 360 degrees, but it likes to snag on the side skirt armor, so just be mindful of this as you rotate it around. I'd keep it to the 180 degrees rotation, looking left and right. The front skirt can swing upwards almost 180 degrees. They can detach and swing up to the chest for the transformation. The side skirts can swing upwards a decent amount. These can also detach and cover the thigh, but this is only for the transformation. The rear skirt is static and does not move at all. The legs on this kit are tall and lanky. The leg can kick forward about 70 degrees straight, but 90 degrees if you rotate the leg outwards a bit. The legs can kick backwards 15 degrees, only limited by the rear skirt. Surprisingly, the Psycho Gundam can completely split out 90 degrees flat, which is impressive. There is a swivel in the upper thigh, allowing 360 degree rotation. If we slide the rear calf armor down a little bit, we can get a 90 degree knee bend. The foot can swivel backwards and left and right. The front swivel is stuck unless we drop the transformation framing a bit for us to lean forward, and that really only gets us a little bit of articulation. You can use this to your advantage to get a little bit of a forward lean, but it's not a heck of a lot. And the kit is a little bit sloppy with this transformation framing dropped. This limited foot articulation is sadly a little disappointing. The arms are in a swivel in the torso, allowing some forward and backward swinging motion. On the shoulder swivel, the arms can rotate around 360 degrees. The arms can swing outwards in the shoulder for a full T-pose. There is a slight swivel in the shoulder armor flap as well as the thruster. There is rotation in the bicep for a 360 degree rotation. The elbow has a double bend, giving us a nice bicep curl. The wrist can swing outwards, exposing the beam saber connection. Finally, the hand is on a swivel in the palm and a ball joint in the wrist, allowing some nice emotive articulation of the hands. The fingers all have articulation as well, which is standard among these large mobile armors. For accessories, we have a lot of cool stuff. Like previously mentioned, we have 2 action bases packed in, one for the Gundam and one specifically for the reflector bits. We have 10 reflector bits closed and 10 reflector bits open. You can also swap these if you wanted to. There is a large shield here that can transform into wings for the transformation or additional armor in mobile suit mode. We have 2 wires for the detachable arms. We have 2 large beam saber blades and 10 finger beam effect parts. Last but not least, we have a destroyed head to recreate scenes from Double Zeta Gundam. I didn't add any weathering to this head, but comparing it to how it looks in Double Zeta Gundam, it looks pretty good out of the box. The colors are really close to being accurate as it's seen on screen. The Psycho Gundam Mark II carries a feature that the Psycho Gundam had, the Mobile Fortress mode. I'm not going to go over every step of the transformation, but just know that the instructions in the manual make it very easy to follow and transform. I don't see there being any real issue going from Mobile Suit to Mobile Fortress mode often. I've transformed this kit about 5 times now, and everything is still as tight and solid as when I first assembled the kit. This transformation is going to be heavily reliant on your subjectivity. If you're a Mobile Fortress enjoyer, then you'll be happy to know that this kit does a great job representing this transformation, and it doesn't require any parts formation either. While in Mobile Fortress mode, this is where your panel lining of the inner frame really shines, as you're able to see all the truss and support framing throughout the transformation. For me personally, I find this transformation to be a little goofy looking, and this seems to be a common sentiment shared among newer fans. I just don't think you can beat the imposing villainous presence of the Psycho Gundam Mark II in its mobile suit mode. Posability on the Psycho Gundam Mark II is good. There's great posability in the arms and even the legs to a degree. The foot not having any forward bend is a little disappointing, but for a large size mobile suit it's still able to pull off some great poses. A forward 90-degree kick and split was unexpected, but this allows you to get creative with your poses and pull off some things that usually aren't possible with these large-scale mobile suits. A great bonus to this posability is that the kit feels solid throughout all of it, despite having a transformation gimmick built into the whole kit. The Psycho Gundam Mark II is exceptional. This kit was really fun to pose around for this video. You're able to nail those wider stance imposing poses and those readying for an attack or battle type of poses too. Just keep in mind the foot won't be sitting flat for those wider poses, which is a bit of a pet peeve of mine. The Psycho Gundam Mark II might be the best large 1/144 scale mobile armor kit that we've seen released to date. The Psycho Gundam Mark II is color accurate, making the finished build look amazing out of the box, with nearly no additional color correction required for accuracy. The articulation has a few quirks, but this is an even trade-off for a solid kit in both mobile suit mode as well as mobile fortress mode. There's a lot of room here to let your imagination run wild. With all that interior detailing just begging to be painted, there's a lot that you could do with this kit to bring all those fantastic details to the forefront. The added surface detailing to the Mark II is a welcome addition. While this may lead to added build time to incorporate all the panel lining, the trade-off is well worth it as you're able to see glimpses of all that hard work as you articulate, transform, and look over the completed build. Assembly is slightly advanced given its built-in transformation, so I would caution builders to slow down and read some steps extra carefully, but really just the torso and arms carry all the complexity of this transformation gimmick. The biggest thing you'll need to look out for while building the Psycho Mark II is the nub marks, as they can be very large and the placement for some of these nubs wasn't in the best spot, so you'll definitely want to sand all those nubs down. Thankfully, the seam lines are easy to deal with as most of them are able to be masked as panel lines, hiding the seam line in plain sight. Some wonderful forward thinking from Bandai with the seams, but not so much on the nubs. The Psycho Gundam Mark II is really a sensational kit. If this is a design that interests you or you're a sucker for that mobile fortress transformation, you definitely will not be left disappointed. Given the amount of time I spent on this kit, I definitely feel I got my money's worth out of the build, but I also feel this is a kit that I could have expanded on my skills a bit more and really gone that extra step with my creativity. There is a lot of paint work I wanted to do on this kit, but I had to hold myself back so I could write an earnest out-of-the-box review. I love when a kit tempts you to go that extra mile. There really is no better feeling out there than when a kit challenges you and gets those creative juices flowing. I commend Bandai for going the extra mile and packing the Psycho Gundam Mark II with all the surface detail, color separation, accessories, and overall value. If you're looking for a large-scale mobile suit to build, you can't go wrong with the Psycho Gundam Mark II. Thank you all so much for tuning into this review of the high-grade Psycho Gundam Mark II. I had a lot of fun with this build and review, and I hope I kept you entertained. Videos like this would not be possible without my amazing subscribers. The likes, comments, and subscriptions do so much to help and support the channel. Until the next video, stay safe, have fun, and happy building.